But today's Tanya teaches us the reason why Tanya existed. So, in a way, it's also the question of why does Chassidus exist? There was Judaism before Chassidus, so why do we need Chassidus? So the answer is that what Chassidus did is it dealt with the real issues, the emotional issues, the issues of the Yetzer Hara, the Yetzer Tov. I know a guy, he has a PhD in experimental psychology. So he said you can throw out all books. He says all you need is a Tanya. And people that are big psychologists, psychiatrists, they all say the Tanya is like the book, the only book you really need. Because the Alter Rebbe says that most books, what they're doing is they're addressing like kind of a certain point or this or that. But the Tanya is based on the personal replies the Alter Rebbe gave people. So in other words, people came to the Alter Rebbe why were people coming to the Alter Rebbe? Because they needed eitzes, they needed advice in dealing with the Yetzer Hara and advice for life and things like that. So the Alter Rebbe, in the Tanya, the Torah Shebeksav, just like the general Torah has everything you need to be a Yid, it's all there, 613 mitzvahs, the body of the Jew. So also the Tanya has everything you need for the spirituality of a Jew. It's all in the Tanya. I think one of the Rebbeim...
Hashem didn't write it to forget about it.
What? Okay, so generally speaking, the Torah is divided into two parts, the body and the soul. And the way it works is first, just like a child is born, first you tell him, okay, this is how you eat, this is how you sleep. You have to build a mensch. Before you build a spiritual person, a person that's growing, you have to have a human being. So the world works in stages. The first stage is taking people out of being Pashut barbarians. The first 2,000 years were 2,000 years of chaos. People were savages. And the next 2,000 years are called Torah, which is creating law and order and respect and rights. Because the world itself doesn't have any rights. When you go to Africa, you'll see that people don't believe in rights. They believe in power. Can I take it or can I not take it? It's not should I take it or should I not take it. So then once a person takes as a basic foundation, okay, well, there's law and there's order. That's why you can't bring democracy to an Arab, because they believe in power. People that believe in power can't have democracy. They say a savage nation needs a savage leader. There's no other way. But if people understand, that's what Christianity, it was the ideas of the Torah, but spread through the Havdil Christianity, you have the Magna Carta, already have the idea of laws 1290, like 800 years ago in England. So then you could progress. Okay, we understand that there has to be right and there has to be... So now you could define what the right is. So now you go to the higher level of spirituality, and that's why the first 2,000 years of creation and chaos, the second 2,000 years, beginning with Avraham Avinu, or 2,000 years of Torah. But then there's 2,000 years of Geula. And Geula is redemption. What does redemption mean? That there's nothing that is stuck in Gullus. Gullus is that you're in a box. You're stuck. And there's even spiritual, or I should say, religious stuckness. But spiritually, if you're connected to Hashem, you're not stuck, because physically you have what you need. Spiritually, everything is flowing. Each thing, like we were saying before, everything has its path, and you're progressing in each thing. You're going forward in all dimensions. And that's a very high level. So in order to get to a high level, you can't say, why not teach this kid algebra? The kid doesn't know 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, that answers the question? Yeah. So this is the idea that the Tanya really was talking to very special people. There's actually a saying that basically, like the best of the Misnag, the people that were really looking for the truth became the Hasidim. And then eventually there were like these pogroms in Russia, and then they came to America. And then a lot of the American Jews, they took the Hasidic value system with them. All of Hollywood basically was like children of Hasidim that started these, and then like this filtered through the whole culture. Maybe it's not so good now, but in the originally, like Superman, about doing goodness and kindness, and all this kind of stuff. And so all these values came from the Yiddishkeit. The main thing is people had to be seeking truth. Because if you're looking for truth, you'll find. If you're not looking for truth, you're looking for cupcakes, you'll find cupcakes. But if you're looking for truth, you'll find truth. And so the Tanya was written to people looking for truth. People who come to Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe would say something like this. One person, Alter Rebbe said to him, he was a very kind person. The Alter Rebbe says, it's not enough to be kind because you want to be kind. You have to be kind because Hashem tells you. And the guy fainted. So they asked him, why did you faint? What's the big difference? He says, because there's a bird, it's called Chasida. She's very kind. I realize I'm not better than this bird. She does it because it's an instinct. So these were deep people. A guy that can faint on a vart, You know what I mean? Like realize that they were just wanted to know, what does Hashem want? What's the truth of Hashem? So the Tanya is written to spiritual seekers, and it says that the Alter Rebbe put inside the Tanya the answer to every single person's question that would read the Tanya. Now I'll conclude with a little story that I heard the story last night, a beautiful story. It's a real story. There was a Jew from Hong Kong, successful secular family. He goes to Oxford, comes back home, tells his parents, Mazel Tov, I found a girl. What's her name? I don't know, not very Jewish. So the parents were devastated. You can't marry a non-Jew. He's like, what do you mean? What's wrong with a non-Jew? Like, he didn't know anything. Like, well, why are you going crazy? Huh? I don't know, but why are you going crazy? So the parents are like, sorry. So he's like, listen, I'm going to get married. You're invited to the wedding. They said, we're not coming to the wedding. He couldn't understand. Like, Pasha didn't understand. They're like, no, we're Jewish and Jewish. Like, they never spoke about Judaism before. Okay. He's on the plane to London, kind of on the way to getting married. And suddenly there's an announcement on the loudspeaker, the microphone of the plane. If there is a Jew on board, please come forward. So he's like, okay, I'm a Jew. So he comes forward. And there's a rabbi there. And the rabbi says, and they say, listen, we're really sorry. We never made such an announcement before, but this guy was making us crazy. So the rabbi says to him, listen, I have a present from you, from the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and he takes out a book called the Tanya. It's by the Rebbe. He gave me a Tanya. He says, you're going to be on the plane. Give this to a Jew. I looked for a Jew. I couldn't find a Jew. So the guy's like, okay, that's nice. What's the Tanya? It's like a spiritual book. He says, okay, so teach me something. He opens it up, and he reads a page, and the page is all about the essence of the Jew. A Jew can never be separated from Hashem. And then he goes to London, and he thinks, this can't be random. I'm on the plane. My parents tell me I'm a Jew. It means that I have an essence. And he gives up his girlfriend. Eventually he marries a nice Jewish girl. He becomes a religious Jew. So the point is that the Tanya, I can tell more stories, but I can't go too much. The Tanya, when Rebbe Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev got the Tanya, he said, amazing how such a big God can fit into such a small book. Tanya is like the Torah and the Tehillim davening. You can read it 1,000 times. It's a chapter that I've read literally thousands of times. And every time you read it, it's like something new. Why? Because Hashem is there. In the Torah that came from the great tzaddikim, especially the deepest things, it's like Hashem is literally talking to you right now. And so when you're doing it and you're learning it, it's like you could always gain more insights. Same things with davening. When you're davening and you're focusing, Hashem is communicating with you. So Hashem is infinite. He knows who you are. It's like today, even Google, you do a question, Google knows who's asking the question. They know what answer to give. So, l'chaim v'levracha.